Hi, today I'm thrilled to have two master builders from Fender here, Mr. Jason Smith and Mr. Paul Wall. So I'm sure all of you are familiar with Fender guitars and their products and their master builders. So today I get to ask them some questions, whether they're personal or not. Well, they'll find out. So, how do you get inspired on building your guitars when you're not working on a specific spec sheets?
I'm actually inspired by everything around me. Right. So, if I happen to see a car in a color that catches my eye, down to visiting. Like I recently just did a trip with my family through the California missions.
Right.
And there was a lot of great artwork in all of these missions, and the ceilings, and just the way everything was painted in different patterns. All that stuff inspires me, and it's all stuff that I'll actually use on a lot of my future builds. But it's, I took a trip. My first trip to Japan, I did. I noticed a lot of the roofing tiles were this really cool turquoise color. So that actually inspired a couple pieces that I had made for NAMM shows.
Excellent. What about you, Paul?
Yeah, I kind of the same thing. I use nature. Nature's already kind of beautiful, so I pick and choose what I like from that. And then I also like hot rods, and hot rods has a mechanical function to things, so making things faster and more streamlined was kind of like a hot rod thing. So I tend to use that same concept when I approach a guitar.
So your ideas, do they need to get pre-approved by the company first, or you can just pretty much do whatever you want?
No, we kind of have the freedom to just go. Wow. I mean, we have the freedom to just build whatever we want. I mean, there's been, on very few occasions where we've built anything where somebody said no.
Okay.
But for the most part, it's like we're pretty free to explore all of the ideas we have.
Yeah. Great. So, I want to ask you, what's out of all the colors Fender offers, which one is your personal favorite? So, Jason.
Personal favorite for colors. Yeah. I really love sunbursts.
Sunbursts.
So, yeah. Okay. I'm pretty simple when it comes to that, and pretty traditional.
Okay. Okay. And Paul?
Of the Fender colors, I think Charcoal Frost.
Charcoal Frost
is my favorite. Yeah.
That's a good one too. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna look into that. Do you mind to share with us your daily work routine? What is it like to get up every morning and drive to work at such an American iconic company and be at your position? How does it feel like?
Paul, want to start with this one?
It's I end up giving a lot of tours just because I'm still so passionate about it. Even though I've been there, I make a joke. I'm the new guy. I've been there 15 years. And when the punch presses are hitting the brass for the telly bridges, and it shakes the floor, it's a fun day.
Okay.
And there's not really a routine because when you're doing these custom guitars, they're all different. So customer demand is different. So sometimes you're chasing a color or a neck shape or maybe some artwork that's going on the guitar. So it's that's what makes the job so exciting for me. Is it's never the same every day. It's a new day.
I guess it's pretty much the same for you, Jason?
No, it's a little different. I'll usually take my morning drive in is usually somewhere between a half hour to an hour, depending on all of the traffic for the day. I have a tendency to plan my day. I have a tendency to know what I need to get done and how long it takes for each operation, and I'll plan my day down to the second.
Oh.
I'm a very organized person, and I mean I tend to try to find ways to manage my time best. So it's usually my morning drive in is just planning on how I'm going to budget my time for the day.
Okay, this one is good. What is your what are some of the most bizarre requests you had to do for your clients? Jason, you go first.
Wow. I think a lot of the requests we get are, like I actually built a guitar for you.
Yes.
And
yeah.
And your the logo you wanted inlaid at the first fret.
Yes.
It's very different from anything we do on a day-to-day basis.
Yes, actually, I have it right here. If you don't mind, I want to show it. Advertise it, actually. This one.
Yeah.
It looks a bit different, actually.
A little bit. You've added things.
I have changed and added a bit. The ghost.
Yeah, the ghost system.
Toggle, and this was the kill switch.
Yes.
But then I got tired of doing that a bit too much, so I got a tone style. But everything else I think remained the same.
Yeah.
And this is the bizarre thing. Please did for me.
Well, I mean, this honestly was a very fun build because it's a Fender. I mean, you look at it and it looks like a Fender guitar, but your pickup layout, the control layout is not a traditional Fender.
Yes.
Visually it still maintains that Fender look, but it's something that's very original for you. It's something that is very much a personal piece.
Yes, and it plays like a dream. So
well, thank you for that.
Yeah, it's perfectly wonderful. Okay, there are many builders at I reckon there are many builders at Fender. How do one become a master builder at Fender? What does it take? What are the secrets?
There's actually only 8 of us.
Right.
There's 8 Fender builders. There's 1 Gretsch.
Yes.
And we all have had a pretty different path. It's not the same for everybody.
Right.
For me, it's I actually started out as a packer, packing guitars, and I wasn't really what I wanted to do, but that was the only available job in the shop at that time.
Right.
And I would pack guitars as fast as I could so I could go help out in other areas and learn different things. And I actually spent about 10 years on the floor in Custom Shop, just working in every department. So I worked in the mill, I worked in paint, I worked in pickups, I worked in final assembly, buff and polish. And then from there, I apprenticed for John English for 5 years.
Yes, I read about that.
And when he passed away, I kind of moved up and filled that void in the shop. Somebody like Yuri Shishkov, he was hired in as an actual builder, just because he had a lot of experience previously with different companies.
Yes.
And he had earned the right just from the years that he put in just working in this industry. Paul has a completely different path.
Yeah. Why not?
I knew I wanted to be in the custom shop, but I also knew it would take a while to get to that position, and obviously there's only so many positions available.
Right.
So it's kind of a lot of it's just, for me, just dumb luck to be in the right place at the right time. So that's the honest truth is, there's a lot of guys that want to be in this position.
I bet.
And they have the talent, they have the skill set, but there has to be an opening, and the openings are very, very few.
Right.
So I was fortunate enough to be at the right place at the right time.
Great. For the customers, on the Fender Custom Shop spec sheets, there are tons of options one can choose on building the dream guitar. What would you say are the few most important aspects on these factors that would affect the playability and the tone of your DreamX So the wood or the pickup or the...
Well, it all kind of plays a part.
But is there like one area that is, probably the most important, or no?
To me, the most important part of any guitar, be it a Squire, a Mexico Fender, a regular production piece, or a master built piece, the neck is always the most important piece.
Okay.
If that doesn't feel right, if it isn't if it doesn't feel comfortable in your hands, if the fretboard hasn't been trued right, if the truss rod doesn't work right, or the frets aren't actually leveled right, regardless of how beautiful it is, it's never going to play right.
Okay.
So the neck is always first and foremost the most important part of every guitar.
What do you think?
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
Yeah?
Yeah. I spent a lot of time shaping necks and doing fretwork. It's very, very important.
Okay. Which part of a guitar or bass that is the hardest part to make? Would it be the neck as well, or the body, or the wiring, the electronics?
Depends on what the build is. Every build is actually is a little different.
Yeah.
If it's a standard order like a 57 Strat, they're all going to be pretty much in the same ballpark as far as the neck shape and specs like that. The hardest stuff for the most part is stuff that has never existed for Fender. So when you're having to literally design a product from the ground up, doing all of the drawings, making all of the tooling, in some cases having to actually fabricate the pickups and the bridge from scratch. Those are usually the harder builds. So there's never really one aspect that's always harder. It depends on what the overall build is as a whole.
Right. And Paul, do you agree?
Yeah. When you get like a short scale guitar, and that's a completely custom handmade guitar. So
I didn't know we can order a short scale. Is that an option?
You can order a 24-inch scale. The Mustang is actually is a 24-inch. We did a 24 3/4-inch for a while as well. That was a Cyclone and also the Tornado.
Yeah.
Those were 24 3/4.
Right.
But the shortest scale we do is 24.
Right. And that has to be customized.
Yeah. For me, the hardest part is always putting the truss rod in and making sure that works properly.
Right.
And so, you get into, I've had short scale American Standard truss rods, and we don't manufacture those, so those have to be custom made. So that's when it gets fun and exciting for me.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us today, and I wish you all the success.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.